Good afternoon from Lisbon, and today we're going to do a couple of small things. We're going to hit a church and a cathedral, and then go up to the Castle of St. George. We're going to go up here and check this out real quick. The Church of San Antonio? And I'll cut it here and we'll switch to the gimbal. Okay, just in the back of this church is the Cathedral of Lisbon, which we will go into next. And in we go. Well, it's free to come in. Yeah. This is our tuk-tuk driver, Federico, but we call him Fred. And he speaks perfect English, and he's going to give us the tour of Lisbon for the next hour and a half, bringing us all to the key spots.
Okay, so now we are in front of Sé. Sé is the main church of Lisbon. It's the Cathedral of Lisboa. It was built in 1147 when the Portuguese conquered the city. And before it was a church, there was a mosque here, because the Moors, they were here before than us. Before there was a mosque, there was a church, because there was Christians here before than the Moorish. And before there was a Roman temple that changed to a church. So it was a Roman temple, a church, then a mosque, then a church again.
Boy, it really went through a lot of changes.
Yes, an old thing.
Don't get comfortable because you're not going to live here long. First stop.
So this area here is called Portas do Sol, that in English translated to English it means sun doors, and the sun doors were the main entrance of Lisbon in the 13th century. The main gate of the city was supposed to be around here. We're not exactly sure because the city changed a lot in times. There was a massive earthquake that we'll talk about later. The statue of Saint Vincent. Saint Vincent is the patron, the official patron saint of the city, but then we changed for another one called Saint Antonio. So this is part of the first city wall of Lisbon. It's from the 8th century. It was built by the Moors when they were here. It's one of the oldest things of Lisbon still standing.
Sfera con la pasta?
This is for me one of the most beautiful viewpoints of the city.
Okay.
It's a viewpoint of Portas do Sol. On the left side, it's called Saint Vincent from the outside church. And it was built in the 16th century outside of the city wall. So Lisbon used to end over there, and it was built to be the mausoleum of the last king's dynasty. So the last Portuguese royals are buried there, and the church on the right, the one with the big dome, it's called Santa Engracia Church, and it took 300 years to be finished. There was always problems. There was earthquakes, fires, whatever. And so it started to be built in 1666, was finished in 1966. And today is the national Pantheon. It's where all the best Portuguese are buried.
All the important people.
Yeah, if you did something great for the country,
you're going to get a spot there.
You're going to get a spot there. If you're famous, one of the most important presidents, a famous father singer, famous writers. There's a football player there, it's very there.
And this is
Alfana. This is the oldest neighborhood of the city.
The oldest neighborhood.
Yeah, that's where Lisbon was born. But later we're gonna get inside.
Okay.
Walking in the middle, in the little street.
Beautiful. And here's the view from the old city out over the port. I would love to be using the Mini, but there's way too much wind. All you'd hear is wind noise. We're now entering the city of the part of the city called Graça, and this is where Fred actually lives. And it's the highest part of the city, according to him.
With the most beautiful views of Lisbon. We're going to stop in an amazing viewpoint.
Fred knows this city like the back of his hand. He was born and raised here. Jeannie says that he's the mayor of Lisbon. Everybody knows him.
This was the Convent of Grace. It's not a convent anymore. It used to be after it was a convent, it became a military barracks, and now it was sold to become a hotel.
Used to be a convent, now it's going to be a hotel and casino. Where to? That way. This is the highest point in Lisbon, right?
Yeah, it's a high point. amazing, no?
Have we seen that castle?
So if we've seen it, we pass close to it. But the castle, the thing about the castle is that the castle was built in the 8th century by the Moors. We
Right.
used it until the end of the 15th century.
Right?
But then the Hurricane destroyed the castle
Right.
in the 18th century. And so what happened is that the castle became a ruin on top of Lisbon. And in the 1940s, when we were in a dictatorship, Salazar, the Portuguese dictator, he decided to renovate the whole castle. So mostly it's a 20th century castle that looks like an old one.
So it's a facade.
It's a facade.
Got it. Okay, now we're doing fun. Jeannie loves this. What I forgot to tell him is she's scared of her own shadow, so this is not good for her.
What's that?
Everything was safe.
I'm not scared of my own shadow.
Some nice wall art.
Oh, right.
Yep.
St. Vincent. Big Aura.
Oh, how beautiful is this? Beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Jeannie likes flowers.
I do.
We are now going to try and go inside of the Church of St. Vincent. Sorry about the wind noise, but this is definitely the way to take superior video when we get inside.
You can film inside.
It's just video, tell her. No.
Eu não está a filmar.
Tell her pictures. particular part, although these look like paintings, they're not. These are tiny, tiny mosaic tiles. Each one hand painted and put together to form the picture. Now, to give you a better idea, let's see if we can zoom in on this on the floor. It'll show you, hopefully, the tiling here. You can see all the little tiles that form the picture, and it's the same for all this. All sorts of different color marbles from all around the world. That might have been one of the most impressive churches I've ever seen on the inside.
Me too.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
It is. Not to be missed.
The most beautiful church I've ever seen.
Not to be missed. And like Fred said, from the outside, you would think it's nothing. You go inside, it's another whole world.
It's always kind of empty.
Yeah.
Because no one knows how
Right.
it is inside. So.
It's one of the nooks and crannies. It's one of the hidden gems you wouldn't know about unless you get a local to show you this.
You know, it just looks like a building.
Very nice viewpoint here as well.
The viewpoint of São Pedro da Alcântara. It's one of the best views of the city. The viewpoints, as I said before, they're our favorite places of Lisbon to relax after work, on a weekend, just have a beer, a bottle of wine with your friends, and with these amazing views.
And earlier today, we were completely on the other side, weren't we?
That one
Over there.
Over there.
Okay. So we'll go over here and take a quick look.
Down there, it's Liberty Avenue. It's one of the main avenues of Lisbon. It's like the Lisbon Champs-Élysées. It was actually made to look like the Champs-Élysées in Paris. The flat area, it's Baixa. Baixa means downtown. The neighborhood under the castle, it's Moraria. It's one of the oldest neighborhoods of Lisbon. The other side of the river. It's not Lisbon. It's called the South Shore.
Okay.
If you've been to New York, it's like New Jersey.
Ah, okay. Good analogy. So earlier we were up there where those trees are, and that's where we had the other viewpoint looking this way. Now we're looking the opposite direction. Beautiful. And once again, the reason we're not going up to the castle is because it's really just a facade. It's nothing, the eye candy of it is looking at it from viewpoints from here, not up close. This is the Pantheon?
We live here today. Did you stop here? Or
Yeah,
no?
we're gonna stop.
Oh, I meant up on
It's like the construction of something Brussels. You're strong.
coming.
Okay, everybody uses the
Okay.
expression, but 90% of the people really crazy. That tuk-tuk driver drinks too much. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get out and take a look. Okay, so according to Fred, this one we have to pay to get inside, and it's not really worth it.
Entering Alfama is the oldest neighborhood of the city. It's where Lisbon was born. And the reason why Alfama is the oldest neighborhood is because it's the only part of the city that has fresh water.
Got it.
The rest of Lisbon didn't have water.
So this was the place to live back
This
then.
was the only place to live 3,000 years ago. And Alfama in old Arabic means something like a place to grow a family, a place to find water, or a place to grow camels. So, related to water.
Right.
And it's the most traditional neighborhood of the city. It's the most authentic. People that live in Alfama, they all know each other. They say hello, good morning to everybody.
What did she say?
She was saying that who allowed you to pass here because they don't like the tubes inside of Alfama.
The president did. That's who allowed us.
I know they don't like the tubes. Mostly because the first tubes they were very noisy.
Oh.
So filming when the ladies
Yes.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good shot.
I got that, and then I even turned around on them. But if I'd known what they were doing, I would have said, the president gave us permission. This might be the narrowest street.
Yeah, it's the Alfama. It's the only part of the city where the structures survived the earthquake.
This way?
Yeah, because the earthquake of 1755 not only destroyed the buildings, but the hills and the structure of the city changed completely. Because the soil of Lisbon, it's very soft everywhere. But in Alfama, it's made of hard stone. And so Alfama stayed intact in its way. There was a lot of buildings that were destroyed, burned, whatever, but the structure, it's still the same. So it's the only part of Lisbon that it's still like...
How about these walkways we're walking on? Original?
Yes.
So hundreds of years people...
After the earthquake. No, after the earthquake. Before the earthquake, this was... the roads would be made of dirt.
Ah, okay.
It's a good restaurant. Patio 13. Portuguese traditional restaurant. We call them tascas. A tasca, it's like a cheap, classic restaurant. Very
Okay.
It's really good food, good wine, and don't pay a lot.
That's our type of place.
Yeah, Patio 13 is good.
Maybe we'll have to give it a try.
Alfama has one thing. It's very quiet.
Very nice.
There's almost no cars inside.
We like that.
For you to drive inside, you have to have a...
Special permit.
Yes, you have to be a local.
Yes.
Non è nada mentira. Se ora estou saindo aqui.
But the thing about Alfama, it's a very beautiful neighborhood, but it's still a poor neighborhood.
Right.
It's right. People that live here, they're normal, simple people. Used to be mostly a neighborhood of fishermen and sailors, and the women would sell the fish,
Right.
the varinas. They were supposed to be very tough ladies.
Ma la salute! La salute!
A salute.
C'è in portoghese.
They're trying the local moonshine.
It's called ginginha. It's a sour cherry liquor. Do you drink alcohol?
I do not.
You do not?
No more.
No more.
Used to, not anymore.
You
Now I drive. My wife drinks. I drive. It's a good match.
I don't like ginginha that much.
Probably the local church.
Yeah, Church of San Miguel.
San Miguel. Okay. Fred's taking us into the nooks and crannies that most people wouldn't know about.
Alfama, it's really easy to get lost here. It's I think it's also the most funny thing to do in Alfama is to get lost. Just mumble around. If you're thinking about turning to the left, you turn to the right, or you do the opposite. And then when you get tired, you just go up or down. You're gonna find your way. But a lot of people are afraid to come inside of Alfama because of it, because they think they can get lost and be mugged or something.
That doesn't worry us.
Sometimes Portugal, sometimes in Lisbon there's a lot of tourists, much more than now, and you come inside of Alfama and no one comes here. Like, the city can be packed, but Alfama it's empty inside.
Right.
It's really cool. It's really beautiful piece of street art.
It's very nice.
Olá, boa tarde. Eles não bebem, já perguntei. Obrigadinho. Nada.
It's a beautiful looking dead end.
You can see that this street is flat. The
Yes.
other one, it's a hill.
Yep.
We're gonna see what happened to this neighborhood after the earthquake from here. This was a hard sliding.
Oh, it all slid down,
Yes, used to be flat,
right?
and
It was flat straight across.
Yeah, until here.
and after the earthquake, it just caved in.
You can't even get
Wow.
a perspective on that with the picture. It's amazing.
This church is called
the Church of Carnival.
Carnival.
And it was built in the 14th century to celebrate a victory against the Spanish. And the reason why it doesn't have a roof, it's because the roof fell during the earthquake.
It collapsed.
Collapsed, and we never rebuilt it to be like a memory of the earthquake.
Okay, I'll go in.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
Yes. Fred said this is very important to go check out. Now, the reason there's no roof is because it collapsed during the earthquake. And this is what's left. He said it was definitely worthwhile paying the entrance fee to come in here, and he was right. And let's go in. Many crypts. I have no idea what we're looking at, but it is very old. Wow, this goes on forever. Okay, here's a scale model of what it looked like back in the day before it collapsed. That's where we came in. They have things from just about every era. And if you wanted to spend some more time here, they have an interactive movie explaining everything. Fantastic, huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely worth coming in here.
Yes, well.
These are stairs that go down into probably the crypts. or shall I say the catacombs. I'm going to show you one more example. These steps bring you down into the catacombs where families were buried. Absolutely, 100% worth coming here and checking this out. And again, it's one of these things you wouldn't know about. One of these hidden gems that you need a local tour guide like Fred to show. And I guess that's the exit? Mm-hmm.
So, now arriving in the elevator of Santa Justa. It was built it was finished to be built in the first year of the 20th century, so in the 900 year. So it's 121 years old. And a lot of people say it was designed by Gustav Eiffel, which is a lie. Some people say it was designed by a student of Eiffel, which is another lie. It was designed by a guy called Menir de Ponsard, who had a very French name, but he was Portuguese, because his family was French. And it's one of the most beautiful monuments of Lisbon, and has one of the best views of the city.
I didn't know they made elevators 100 and some odd years ago.
Yeah, it is. And it's not worth to ride the elevator.
Right.
It's like costs like €5, and
Okay.
the queue it's huge, and you can come to the top without paying, like we just did. Very beautiful spot, no?
Yes.
You see?
Right on the center of the old town of Lisbon. Yeah, you're saying
It almost looks
down
like that's
here.
our apartment,
No,
but it's not.
It's in one of these streets.
Yeah.
Yep. Might even be that one right there. Now I have to go back and look.
It could very well be.
No, because this is good audio.
Ah.
There's a lot of them. The buildings are very similar.
Like you said.
There's so many incredible viewpoints in this city that can be taken advantage of.
So this is Peter the Fourth Square. We don't call it that. We call it Rocio Square, and the Rocio in old Portuguese means meeting point. So it used to be the meeting point of the Lisbon High Society. That big building over there is Dona Maria National Theatre. It's one of the main theatres of Portugal. And what people did in 18th, 19th century, just walking around in carriages, having fun.
Right. So if they wanted to meet, they would say meet at that statue. We have the same thing in New York City, in Grand Central Station. There's a clock there, and it's called the Clock of Grand Central Station, and everybody knows where to meet. And there's the back side of the church we just took you through with the collapsed roof.
Down there it's Rocio train station, very beautiful, mostly from the outside. In the inside today it's a modern train station, but from the outside it's amazing.
Around this little hairpin. And this is the meeting spot that Fred was talking about earlier.
You know what's also nice is the tile on the bottom.
Right.
Okay, got it.
This is the beauty of having a tuk-tuk.
It's not going to be open. It's closed on Saturday. I don't know why. But it's more of a week restaurant. They always full during the week, so.
La Licorista?
Licorice?
La Licorista. I think this is us right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you see the green door? No, this is not us. Up there.
It's on that. It's on
Yes.
On the
Yes.
next block.
Ah,
Yep.
alright.
On the left. There's a green door.
that one. Right.
We can get out here though.
You can get out here.
Yeah.
But
So that wraps up our day tour here in the beautiful city of Lisbon with Fred, who took us to a lot of special places today. And we enjoyed his company and his services so much that we are actually going to rehire him for Monday to take us to Pelham. So like he said, on Monday we'll continue this tour and we'll see Fred then. And because he's taking tomorrow off, it's Sunday, it's his day off. And he earned it.
we'll see you there.